Hey everyone, we spend so much of our lives online, but do we actually know the rules of the road? Well, over the next few minutes, we're going to break down the laws that govern our digital world. Think of me as your legal guide, here to help you navigate it all safely and with a bit more confidence. Let's dive in.
So let me ask you something. You've probably seen it, maybe even done it. A friend leaves their laptop unlocked and you post a funny status update. Or maybe you try to guess a password to a shared account, just for fun. It feels totally harmless, right? But here's the thing. In the eyes of the law, the line between a simple prank and an actual crime can be, well, razor thin. So the question is, where exactly is that line?
Well, that line is officially drawn by Republic Act 10175, which you'll probably know as the Cybercrime Prevention Act. Now, don't let the formal name throw you off. This is basically the official rulebook for our digital lives. It's built to protect everything from your personal data all the way up to our national infrastructure. The whole point is to make sure technology helps us grow and doesn't become a threat.
Okay, so let's crack open that rule book. What are the absolute core offenses that all of us really need to get? It all starts with making sure we're speaking the same language.
First up, what even is a computer system? You might think of a desktop computer, but the law defines it super broadly. It's not just your laptop. It's your smartphone, your tablet, the university's registration portal, even the Wi-Fi network at your local coffee shop. Basically, if a device or network processes digital info, it counts.
And that brings us to the most fundamental cybercrime out there: illegal access. The key phrase you have to remember here is without right. It's just a legal way of saying without permission. Think about it. Guessing a classmate's email password, or even just poking around in a restricted folder on a university server. If you weren't explicitly given the okay to be there, that's illegal access. Simple as that.
All right, now let's untangle two crimes that sound really similar. First, you have data interference. This is when you attack the information itself. A classic student example, maliciously deleting a classmate's thesis file from a shared drive. On the other hand, you've got system interference. That's when you attack the machine or the network, like say using a program to deliberately crash the university's enrollment portal. See the difference? One targets the file, the other targets the whole system. And yeah, both are really serious. And of course, there's the big one, identity theft. This is huge. It's when someone, again, without right, takes or uses someone else's personal information, their name, their student number, even just their profile picture, to pretend to be them or to get into their accounts.
So, we've got a handle on what the crimes are. But how do investigators actually prove who did it? Well, it all comes down to the digital trail that we all leave behind. Let's take a look at how they follow it.
The main agencies you need to know about are the National Bureau of Investigation, or NBI, and the Philippine National Police, the PNP. It's really important to know they have these highly specialized cybercrime divisions with the training and the tools to track those digital footprints.
What investigators are looking for is called digital evidence. This can be anything: emails, chat logs, system files. Now, there's a key difference here between content data, which is the actual message inside an email, and traffic data. Traffic data is more like the info on the outside of an envelope, who sent it, where it was going, and when, but not what's written inside. Both of these can be absolutely crucial pieces of the puzzle for an investigator.
Now, to collect all this evidence, investigators follow a very strict forensic process. They don't just grab a suspect's laptop and start clicking around. No way. First, they secure the device. Then, they create a perfect bit-for-bit copy of everything on it. This is called a forensic image. All the analysis, all the digging, happens on this copy, which means the original evidence stays completely untouched and pristine.
So how do they prove that the copy is perfect and hasn't been messed with? This is where it gets really cool. They use something called a hash value. The best way to think of it is as a unique digital fingerprint for any file or disk. They calculate this fingerprint for the original device, and then they calculated it for their forensic copy. If those two fingerprints match perfectly, it's rock-solid proof in court that the evidence is authentic and hasn't been changed by even a single bit.
Okay, knowing the law is step one, but protecting yourself is just as important, if not more so. So let's get practical and talk about your own digital safety playbook.
These three are your absolute non-negotiables. First, please use strong, unique passwords for every single account. No recycling. Second, turn on two-factor authentication, or 2FA, everywhere you can. That little extra code sent to your phone is one of the best defenses you have. And third, always be skeptical of phishing emails, those fake messages trying to trick you into giving away your username and password. All right, let's do a quick mental check-in. Ask yourself these questions right now. Good cybersecurity isn't just about software, it's about your habits. Things like regularly reviewing your privacy settings, always logging out of shared computers, and checking your recent login history. These are the small things that make a massive difference.
But what happens if, even with all your best efforts, you become a victim? It is so important to know how to respond and to understand the very real consequences for the people who commit these crimes.
And make no mistake, the stakes are incredibly high. These are not slaps on the wrist. For crimes like illegal access or data interference, we're talking about prisión mayor. That's a minimum of 6 to 12 years in prison, plus some very significant fines. These are life-altering felonies.
So if you ever need to report a cybercrime, here's your 3-step game plan. 1, and this is the most important, preserve the evidence. Screenshot everything. Do not delete threatening messages or suspicious emails. 2, gather all the details you possibly can. And 3, file a formal complaint with the NBI or PNP's cybercrime units. That's how you officially get the ball rolling.
So let's bring it all home. Now that you know the rules, you know the risks, I want you to really think about your own actions online. Does this change how you might view borrowing a friend's account or poking around a shared university drive? You know, the goal here isn't to scare you. It's just about having a responsible awareness. Because at the end of the day, every click, every login, every single post, it all adds to your digital footprint. And that record is permanent. The knowledge you've picked up today gives you the power to make sure that the story your footprint tells is one of integrity, of respect, and of responsibility. Thanks for tuning in.